KICentral.com is Kings Island's ultimate fan site, and they've got a new look. Hey, everybody. Alongside Don Helbig, I'm Ryan Sir, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast by Kings Island fans for Kings Island fans because that's who we are and that's who we care about. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm very tired. I just got back from Disney, but I'm excited because we've got a special guest today on for probably the third time. We got Brad Perdue.
Second or third time, yeah. Hi, how's it going, guys?
Oh,
Yeah, great. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right.
Glad to be here.
So, Brad, you guys did a little bit of a teaser campaign about something that was going to be changing about KI Central. And
Yes.
obviously, for those of you who haven't seen it, it was little blotches here and there of exposing the logo. And then he did a zipper thing, which I thought was kind of interesting. Um, so before we get into what was actually different about the site, tell us about why you decided to do a teaser campaign and how you came up with that particular idea.
Well, I actually talked to Don a little bit about, I wonder how we could reveal this new logo. Lee, who has done the logos for as far as long as I know, and you could probably talk more about that, Ryan, than even me. I don't know if he did the original logo when the site got started, but I'm pretty sure he's done it at least the last 3 refreshes of the website. So we reached out to him. He worked on the logos for quite a while. I was probably hard on him because I'm like, nope, don't like that one. Nope. And so when he finally came up with some of the color combos and the logos that you see now, I'm like, yep, that's our winner. So I figured let's highlight that, but that's not really going to be the true reveal. So I did some playing with Photoshop and figured out how to make blotches. I was trying to do a puzzle, and I was going to do a little puzzle piece each day. And that's kind of what I had presented with Don, and he liked it. But I couldn't figure that out. And I'm not necessarily an Adobe person, depending on Illustrator and Photoshop and that whole suite of products. I dabble, just enough to play around a little bit. So I figured out how to make those little blotches come out. And I thought, you know what, I'll do that. So I had done, I think, about 8 of them I had made total. And then I thought, how about we put a zipper on there? I really wanted it to start peeling away, the old logo to the new logo in the back. I never could get it to look right in Photoshop. It just didn't turn out the way I had envisioned. But that little blotchy thing, I thought, okay, that kind of gives the same effect of what I was trying to do. And so I thought, okay, I'll make 8 of those. And then I had 3 of the zippers coming from the top, middle, and fairly far down, but not the full reveal. And so we started a week before I convinced Matthew I was ready to convert over. And then a couple little things on the site that I was working with him to try to figure out. Then I started getting nervous that we're going to launch this thing. I've already kind of been poking fun with the teaser that something's coming. And I wanted it to be not only the logo, but the website as well. And that be the full feature of everything. And after all the hours that I had put into redesigning it, making it look good, and hopefully people like it and make it more clear and visible and easy to navigate. The old design was it worked. It was functional, but it was definitely an older template of a website that didn't have the functionality that the new one has, or the ability to put things in a more cohesive location on the page. So I wanted it to be a big reveal. So that's why I did a week-long kind of teaser of the graphic per se. And then, oh, by the way, you have a whole new website.
Yeah, Brad, it seemed like you got really good feedback both for the teaser campaign and then also for the launch of it. But You mentioned the other site not being as functional, and I think that's a product of a lot of people transitioning from desktop to they're all now on mobile and that. So it's very
Right.
user friendly now for mobile devices.
Yeah, and that was one of our goals because that old one it worked for a long time, but we hadn't updated it in 7, 8 years. And so it was definitely time that we did something with it. And quite honestly, the driving factor was because I kept breaking the website. Every time I started updating some more photos, especially this last year, I probably broke it 3 or 4 times. And then I have to message Matthew, hey, it's not working again. We're getting the 505 error, or is this saying it can't connect to the website at all? Then he'd have to go reboot it. And then I was running the server out of hard drive space, uploading photos and all that kind of stuff. And so he ended up moving some of the older files of photos off into the cloud so I could keep uploading stuff that was current. So we were kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul there so we could get new content up. And he's like, well, we haven't touched, no one's really looked at these photos over here, so I'll pull those out for now and until we have a chance to kind of redo everything. And when we sat down and tried to figure out what would be the best plan, let's just start from scratch. So we started with a brand new server, 3 times as much of the hard drive space, so that way we weren't going to run out anytime soon. And then we started with a new template, and then I just started going to town once he got it all set up for us to make something that looked nice and we'd be proud of and people would enjoy going to.
Yeah, it certainly looks good, and I know your pain. Back when I was doing your job, KIC wasn't really in its infancy, but it was when it was taking off. And yeah, you'll have to confirm this with Dane. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I do remember in a year we were kicked off of 3 services because we so greatly exceeded the bandwidth from having so many visitors and stuff. Because we would purchase plans that were appropriate for what we had, the traffic we
Right,
had, and then all of a sudden, I mean, there was PKI Unlimited, and we bought them, so that brought
right,
up 20 or 30% more traffic that would have gone to them came to us, and then we started getting, like Italian Job Stunt Track, construction photos, which were really popular, and we had the hard
right.
drive space issues because Dane and I would go to every little thing at Kings Island, and we'd upload dozens of photos, many of which were duplicates, as I'm sure you saw as you were trying to comb through that gallery. Uh,
Right.
but yeah, I totally know the pain. How's the reception of the new website been so far?
So far, it's been really, really good. People seem to really love it, and especially the layout and the easiness, because there is just so much rich content on there. And that was part of my teaser campaign that I hope kind of came through was there's more than just the forums on KIC. It's not just a community of people that talk on the forums. There's a lot of knowledge and information there. And 3 people, on this call right now have contributed to some of that. And I try to keep it growing every year and update it in real time because last year's news of what I reported or 2 or 3 years ago is now history for Kings Island. And so I like keeping that up because there's such good content all the way back from when the park started. And as you get closer and closer to today, you got more photos, you got more content, you've got obviously better photos because the technology to take them and upload them gets better. And that's probably one of the other problems is the file sizes are so much bigger now when you upload. I'm uploading 500 meg at a time when I'm uploading a gallery, not just 30, 40 meg. So, you got to consider the sizes of the files and all that kind of stuff as well. But I want to keep up with all that rich content. And it's really funny because people will put on social media or even on the forums of, hey, do you guys know about what happened here? We'll go to our main website. All that information's there. Go look at our timeline of Kings Island history. It takes you all the way back before the park opened. And we'll tell you each ride and what happened and why. And people from a long time have been contributing to that. And people who used to work at the park and historians that are just so much in love with the park and know so much about it. So there's a lot there.
Yeah, Brad, I know when a lot of, different reporters and that, they're looking to do stories on Kings Island, oftentimes they will go to Wikipedia just to try to get a reference, and it's going to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage anyone doing any kind of stories on Kings Island, go to KI Central and look up the history, and you can kind of either cross-reference what you're writing, or you're going to find some things that are going to add to your story there.
Right. And the people who contribute, I ask them about once a year to go back and look and make sure they haven't learned of something new that we need to add to it. About 2.5 years ago, we redid the whole timeline. Excuse me. It was from current to past, and we changed it from past to new. So you got to scroll down to see the newer stuff. But it all got rewritten. Every ride page got updated and new content added. And these were historians that contributed and know their stuff. They helped run the KI history pages and some of the other things. They helped with the Ride Through Time book. So I trusted these guys that, gave content and knew. And I also obviously lean on you, Don, on some of that stuff to double check and make sure things are accurate, because you know things and you rattle those dates off like what you had for lunch today. And I don't remember what I had for dinner last night. So people like that just have that in their brains and know it. That's the kind of content we want to put on there that we know is accurate.
Yeah, very cool. So, Brad, obviously the forums are, the most popular part of KI Central, and for good reason. That's dynamic and very different. But from a traffic standpoint, besides the forums, what's the most popular parts of the website?
The history pages, for sure. A lot of people hit those. The galleries are pretty popular as well, but I almost say the historical timeline of rides and past attractions page, those get hit probably the most outside the forums.
Wow.
In addition to KI Central, the website, you've also got your social channels, very active there. Talk about those a little bit.
I try to put something out there every day that will get people to interact and not just scroll and stop, and go, huh, that's interesting, hit the like and keep on scrolling. I try to add questions and get engagement through those as well. And so I try to post as much as I can. Obviously, I've got 3 kids and a wife and work full time and try to help moderate the forum. So sometimes I may miss a day or two, but I try to put something on there every day on all the channels. We also join threads. So we have Instagram threads, Facebook, Twitter, and then we also try to add to our YouTube channel when we can.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. So
Thank you.
we conducted a poll recently, and this pertains to like a lot of like the KIC people would be interested in this. So Don, why don't you read off the results and what the poll
Okay.
was actually?
Yeah, the poll question was, and it was on the Tower Topics X, formerly known as Twitter. Should Kings Island host a winter chill out event like Cedar Point does annually and Dorney Park is doing this month to raise money for a charitable organization? 85% voted yes, 15% voted no. Where do you stand on that, Brad? What do you think?
Oh, I definitely think we should do it. Anytime you can help a worthy organization like a kid again is worth it. I always participated in all of the Coasting for Kids events. I think I only missed one just because I had a previous engagement I couldn't go. But those were such fun events, and knowing where that money goes was just icing on the cake. Aside from being able to do something that a lot of people can't do. So yes, I would definitely be in favor of that.
Yeah, it would certainly allow guests to see the park, at this time of the year coming back to life if they were to do it in, February, March. time frame. There's a lot of interest in it. And when I looked at the poll results, I'm thinking 15% said no. Where are those people coming from? Who doesn't want to do an off-season tour at Kings Island if you're a Park fan, right?
That's true. I must be the husbands and wives, the fans who force them to see your feed.
That's
Or
right.
the people that would have to work on a Saturday. I don't want to do that. So, speaking of polls, and Brad, I want your take on this because we can talk about this until the cows come home. But USA Today recently published a story on the 2020 most anticipated new roller coasters. And that included Top Thrill 2, the new one at Dorney, Good Gravy made the list. Snoopy Soapbox Racers was omitted from the list.
Mm-hmm.
If Good Gravy is one of the most anticipated rides of 2024, why is Snoopy Soapbox Racers neglected from the list, in your opinion?
Well, I'm not sure it has been very much advertised as far as through the channels and getting the word out there about it. I would say our channels have just as promoted it as much as the park itself has at this point, with getting information out there about it. So the Holiday World has definitely done an awesome job marketing and campaigning about their new ride. And so, yes, I would definitely think the marketing of it and the whole Camp Snoopy area, just how many people actually know about it?
Well, I'm sure many knew about it when it was announced, but you're right, it hasn't been top of mind for quite a while. But yeah, it's very interesting because it'd be one thing if Good Gravy wasn't a thing, or if it was also omitted from the list, then you could say like most of those other ones are bigger rides or whatever. But with Good Gravy
Right.
making the list,
It's pretty much the same ride.
yeah. Well, yeah, from the public standpoint, it's like identical. Although you and I know that it's not. They're very unique ride. Um, I mean, so that's the thing that I thought was really strange, and you might be onto something as far as, Good Gravy was seen in all these different markets, and they had this fun announcement in the video, and it's it was just really out there, and it continues to be. So selfishly, did I make a good decision with a podcast co-host? If Don were still there, would it have made the list?
I would say yes, it would have, because he would have sent me stuff, press releases and such. I would have done everything I could to promote it, along with all the cool ways he always seemed to get it out to across everybody. I'm not sure exactly how Don had that magic, but he always seemed to be able to get that word out to more people than I would have ever imagined. And the storytelling there was very, very cool about how Don could turn something that didn't seem too important to some people and turn it into magic. And I think Don still has that power, to turn a story that most people wouldn't think would be that big a deal and get people excited about it. So that storytelling is important. I think a lot.
Yeah, appreciate the kind words there, Brad. I will say that I had two really good mentors in the 1980s as I was getting interested in PR that really told me the importance of storytelling. Make whatever you're going to try to put out there, compelling, interesting, as Ruth Voss and Bill Mefford. And without those two being influences on my life, then I'm just like all the other PR people, a lot of PR people, out there in the world. I was able to see it differently as I got into it and working for hockey teams and ultimately Kings Island. So my approach was different than a lot of people's approach, and I was able to get a lot of those stories that I thought were interesting to me and I thought would be interesting to, other fans of the park, out there and able to get the media to run stories on it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have a master's degree in any of that or anything, but
it's all about the street smarts too. When you're a park fan and you're around park fans, what they're interested in.
Right.
What they're going to want to see, what they're going to hear about, and it's taking that knowledge, knowing what they're interested in, and being able to put that in a compelling, telling a compelling story to the media and why it's important to their market. Like if you wanted to get Snoopy Soapbox Racers, say you want to get it on TV in Atlanta, it's not that hard to do. You just have to sell the station that, a percentage of your audience visits Kings Island annually. This is why it's important to that market. And they'll put you on in Atlanta. So you
Yeah.
have to be able to sell it to each market and those kind of things. There's a lot of little tricks to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad, thank you so much for being on the show once again.
Absolutely, and I hope everyone enjoys the new website, and I hope they go and
Looks
look at all
fantastic.
the wonderful pictures that you and Dane and everybody who's contributed over the years can go to the website and enjoy all of those and the history. And there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears since 2003 to make Kings Island Central to what it is now. And I'm glad to keep running with those reins, and I hope everyone appreciates all the things that we do to keep site up and try to bring good content and current content as well, that's relevant these days as well. I'm still 2 hours away from the park, but I seem to do all right with getting content and such out there, and getting good video and photos of the park when I can. So like you said earlier, Don, it's all about knowing what the audience is really going to want and see, and being able to market that way. And I think I may have taken a playbook out of yours, and seeing how you have done things over the years. And I don't know if I'd say I copied that, but I think I've kind of emulated it just a little bit, and it seems to keep us up and running.
Well, Brad, as I get older, you realize you can't take things with you, so I can't take that playbook with me. So you're welcome to any parts of it that you want.
Well, I definitely thank you for helping, and your contributions to the Kings Island Central website as well over the years, and all the things you did when you were in PR and helping the site, because I know that's part of the reason it drew me there originally, was that connection we had with the park. And if the park wants to rekindle that, I am more than willing.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first. All right. So that's KICentral.com. If you guys want to hop on their forums, you can have many discussions with other Kings Island fans like yourself. And, obviously on social media, it's pretty much all KI Central, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Brad, thanks again for coming on the show.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to our listener question. This one's from Rich Linville. He asked, Mr. Helbig, you are one of a select few that has been to Kings Island every single year that the park's been open. Will that streak continue in 2024?
Yeah, since 1972, I visited Kings Island at least once every season. If I have to put a term to it, let's go with doubtful.
Doubtful, but hopeful. Doubtful, just doubtful, not hopeful. All right. So, next listener question. We're doing two this episode. Travis asked, when Mystic Timbers was announced in 2016 with What's in the Shed, was there any features that was cut or removed that was originally planned for the shed?
No, nothing was cut. At the time, that announcement was at the end of July. Vertical construction, was beginning. They were going to put the Benson the next day or two. So we had to kind of get it announced a little earlier than we really would have liked to. It wasn't really known, finalized, what was going to be in the shed. We just knew, there was going to be that either that kind of element in there, but exactly what that was going to be was unknown. So that's where really What's in the Shed, was derived from, because we didn't know. We were asking ourselves that question, what's in the shed? And it just turned out to be a really good, way to launch the coaster with that question. The stats pedestrian like, so maybe on paper it wasn't going to generate, the excitement and the conversations that it did all winter, with just based on those numbers, until the construction really started taking shape and you could get people excited that way to see what the ride experience is really going to be like. So it really worked out well to have that campaign, and it got everybody, talking about it from coast to coast, into Canada and Europe and everything. And by the time the ride opened in April, it was, one of the most anticipated new attractions for 2017.
So at the time of the announcement, had you contracted Holovis yet? Yeah, I
They were involved, but we had not come up with a final what that's going to be. Was it going to be the bats and the snake and those things, or was it going to be something else? Different things on the board. Some things we thought were going to be too intense, too scary because of the height requirement that some of the younger guests might not enjoy that. Other things where that's too tame, not good enough. So we weren't at a final, point of what the direction was going to be. So it was a cliffhanger, when we announced it, because we did not know. We knew as much as the guests did exactly what that was going to be.
yeah. Well, now we know what's in the shed. We know all three of the things that are in the shed. Hey, I'm Ryan Sir, along with Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.